Welcome to the Create Your Happy podcast, where the mission is to empower women in their journey of self-discovery. Here we explore how to fully embrace our humanness, find our unique voice, and understand that through unconditional love and conscious relationships, we have the power to change the world. I'm your host, Christy Holt, your one and only Happiness Hussy, adventure guide, and conscious funpreneur. I'm on a heartfelt mission to change the world one beautiful soul at a time. Are you ready to elevate your relationships to the next level? I've got you. It's time for a messy fucking beautiful adventure. It's time to create your happy. Hello there, gorgeous human. Welcome back to Create Your Happy for another episode on relationships. Now, today I want to share with you why I don't believe in sacrificing for relationships, not even as a parent. And in this episode, we'll be unraveling the myth of sacrifice in relationship and exploring the power of self-love to create solutions that honor both you and your loved ones. So let's explore how to love deeply without losing ourselves. The belief that love requires us to sacrifice is a myth that many of us have lived by. But here's the truth. Sacrificing our needs leads to self-abandonment. Now, my journey through 2 divorces and 1 broken engagement taught me the key lesson that I'll be sharing with you today, that sacrificing for love actually meant losing myself. Self-abandonment stems from a deep-seated fear of being abandoned, and often, as it was for me, stemming from childhood. Now, in response to this fear, whether consciously or not, we can often end up contorting ourselves, hoping to be loved, and at the very least, avoiding the risk of further abandonment and pain. But what we do not often realize is that in doing so, we abandon the one person who's always been there for us, ourselves. And it took me going through some pretty shitty times to see that all of that time I was trying to protect my heart by holding on so tight, I was actually leaving myself behind. Oh, the irony. Now, embracing self-love was a game changer for me. And for me, it was the realization that we don't actually have to be less in order to be loved and accepted, but rather we actually need to be fully ourselves. Self-love means setting boundaries, recognizing our worth, and understanding that we are complete and whole all on our own. When we truly know ourselves and what we need, we become empowered. And when we take care of ourselves well, instead of operating from our fears, we can powerfully create experiences from a place of love. Sacrifice seems to be quite normalized these days, and even the idea of compromise is often based on the assumption that someone has to lose in order for the other to win. But there is another way. True love is about finding solutions where everyone's needs are met. And I personally believe that creating win-win solutions is always possible. But it requires creativity, open communication, and a willingness to see beyond our own, often limited, perspective. It requires us asking, how might we both or all feel fulfilled, rather than saying, who gets their way? It places us on the same team, working together, rather than pitting us against one another in a competition where ultimately no one wins. Now, maybe you're thinking always is a strong word, and you're right, but most often it's our own assumptions and judgments that limit our ability to find creative solutions. And by letting go of these, we can open up to new possibilities. This means listening actively, asking questions, and exploring together. It absolutely might require some vulnerability, but I bet you'll be quite surprised at the quality of solutions that become available when you adapt these strategies. Now, here's the real problem with sacrificing for your kids, and the reason that I say that I don't believe we should do it. Trying to give our kids everything while seemingly applauded by society often comes at the cost of our own well-being and connection as a parent. Sacrificing our needs doesn't actually enrich the relationship that we have with our children, and in fact, it often depletes it. It's crucial to find a way that allows us to be both present and connected with our children without losing ourselves. And in our quest to provide the very best for our children, we often fall into the trap of keeping up with the Joneses. We push ourselves to give our kids every opportunity, from extracurricular activities to the latest gadgets, believing that this will lead to their happiness. But let's pause and ask ourselves, at what cost? This relentless pursuit often comes at the expense of genuine connection and being present with our children. It's a stark reminder that in trying to give them, quote unquote, everything, we might be overlooking what they need most: our time, our presence, and our love. Not to mention that in order for them to actually be able to navigate the ups and downs of life as an adult, they require resilience. They need resilience not only in the face of boredom, but even more importantly, when it comes to dealing with struggle and difficulties. The hard truth is that by trying to keep our kids happy in every moment, we're actually not going to end up creating that intended outcome. Because what is truly required for long-term happiness is the very resilience that keeping them happy all of the time as kids can prevent them from learning how to create for themselves. Talk about a catch-22. But I digress. When you consistently put your own needs on the back burner to meet the perceived needs of your children, or your spouse, or your household, or coworkers, or others in your life for that matter, you're not just sacrificing your hobbies or interests. You're actually risking the very essence of your relationship with them. You have to ask yourself, what are you truly sacrificing? Because it might just be the deep, meaningful connection that you long to have with your kids, and often the one that you have with your spouse too. This self-abandonment doesn't just leave you burnt out and exhausted. It does that too, but it also models a way of living that you actually probably wouldn't want to model for your children or for others. This one hit me like a ton of bricks when I realized that I was actually not protecting my kids by staying in my unhappy marriage, sacrificing my own needs and happiness in order to keep our family together. I mean, how can we teach another about self-love, boundaries, and personal fulfillment if we are not practicing these very principles ourselves? The challenge then is to find harmony. And harmony versus balance, because balance indicates some sort of like scale where things are going to be equivalent. Harmony is more of a flow and an interconnectedness. So how can you support your children's growth and opportunities, and that of yours as a family as a whole, without losing yourself in the process? It starts with recognizing that our own well-being is not separate from theirs, and that by taking care of our own needs, we actually can show up as more present, engaged, and loving parents and spouses. This does not mean we stop providing for them or encouraging them in their dreams, but it does mean that we do so from a place of abundance rather than depletion. We give what we can, when we can, without compromising our own health and happiness in order to do so. And it's in this very harmony that we find the capacity to offer them our very best. Now, if this conversation has been resonating with you, I invite you to leave a 5-star rating on the podcast and leave a review. I would love to hear from you. I would also love to invite you to join me on reflecting on your priorities as a parent and or partner. Are there some areas where you're overextending? Maybe you're trying to give your family every opportunity at the cost of your own well-being. How might shifting your approach not only benefit you, but also deepen the relationship that you have with your loved ones? Consider this. The greatest gift that we can give others is the example of a life well lived, one where we honor our needs, pursue our passions, and cultivate deep and meaningful connections. And this is the legacy that we can choose to leave, one of love, peace, and mutual respect for humanity. And as we navigate the complexities of family life, I implore you to commit to finding ways that honor both your children's growth and your own. Let's explore creative solutions that allow for both their development and our fulfillment. It's in this very exploration that we discover the true essence of giving. This is one that enriches both the giver and the receiver. And that is what I call a win-win. So today's practical action step is a very simple one. Today, I invite you to compassionately reflect on where you might be overextending in the name of love. Consider your own needs and then share an open conversation with anyone involved in order to find solutions that respect both your needs and those of your loved ones. And don't forget, true love supports growth and fulfillment, not sacrifice. And remember that love enriches us and shouldn't diminish us. If you're giving from a place of abundance, there will always be enough. So if today's episode sparked something in you, I would love to hear about it. And I can't wait to continue to challenge old myths and embrace a life of love, respect, and fulfillment alongside of you. I am so, so grateful that you continue to walk this path with me. You deserve a love that celebrates you in all of your glory. So until next time, embrace the messy fucking beautiful journey of life. I love you all. Now let's go do some epic shit, shall we? Are you tired of feeling burnt out and overwhelmed by trying to please everyone else? Do you find yourself constantly putting other people's needs ahead of your own, leaving you feeling unfulfilled and resentful? Break free from the cycle of people-pleasing and take back control of your life. Learn how to identify and break free from the patterns of people-pleasing that are holding you back. Learn practical tools and strategies to set healthy boundaries and prioritize your own needs so that you can find a sense of peace and fulfillment in your life. Imagine waking up each day feeling energized and excited about your life. Imagine living life on your own terms. Don't wait any longer to take control of your life and find true happiness. The Path to True Happiness and Authenticity, a masterclass for people pleasers. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I trust you were inspired to take back your power and create your happy. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with the women in your life who could use a little more inspiration today. If you'd like to connect or explore the additional resources mentioned in this episode, you can find those details and links in the show notes below. As always, get out there, have fun, be you, and create your happy.